If you have Davante and your fantasy football team needs wins now, you should really trade him away. For the next 3 weeks, he has the toughest fantasy football schedule out of any wide receiver in the league. This week, he plays the Colts, who give up the second least fantasy points to wide receivers. Next week, he plays the Broncos, who give up the absolute least fantasy points to wide receivers. And then the Seahawks, who are third best against fantasy football wide receivers. Then, before the fantasy football playoffs, he still has matchups against Jalen Ramsey and then the Patriots, who give up the fifth least fantasy points to wide receivers. But if you have Davante and it seems like you're going to make the fantasy football playoffs, then I would hold him because he has a great matchup in Week 16 against the Steelers, who give up the most fantasy points to wide receivers, and then in Week 17 against the 49ers, who give up the 12th most fantasy points to wide receivers. But if you need wins now, you need to trade Davante Adams away. You could trade him for A.J. Brown straight up, or maybe Amari Cooper and Dameon Pierce. I'd be willing to give up Davante for Debo and Ken Walker, or I'd give up Davante for Olave and Etienne.